Good afternoon, traders. It is Thursday, August 27, 2020. August 27th, 2020. And the U.S. stock market is closed. Hey, today was trading day from hell. That's why I can't talk. Just horrible, horrible day. We just got sliced and diced today in the worst way. You're looking here at the Dow, and it's interesting that this happened to us on an up day with the Dow, uh, and that has been fairly typical lately. We do better on down days than we do on up days. Uh, the Dow took off right at the beginning of the day, made made its high, 2 hours into the day. Then it had this big correction here. And during this correction, we actually got short three of our positions in UVXY. We're tripling up on that to cover us in case of a short. And yeah, down here we were briefly profitable, but then that all went to a loss as the Dow reversed the last half of the market day, and we are negative on all three of those UVXY positions on the close. That wasn't our big negatives, but it contributed to our overall negative positions. The statistics are absolutely terrible. We had positive over $15,000. That's $15,000 yesterday on the close. Everything looked really good, and we went from being positive 15,000 in open trade yesterday on 9 positions to closing out those 9 positions with every single one of those 9 positions. We closed out negative. There wasn't a positive closeout in any one of those 9 positions, and we went to negative 29,000, over 29,000 with a closeout. So we went from positive 15 to negative 29. Basically just shy of $45,000 swing there. That makes a horrible day, no doubt about it. It didn't end. The punishment didn't end then. We got into 8 positions. You would expect we get in 8 positions with the Dow running like it did today. We got into 8 positions. Only 2 were positive, 6 were negative, and we are carrying negative an additional $12,000 plus in open trade going into tomorrow. So add the two numbers together and you come up with about $42,000 losing day. It doesn't get much worse than that. It can, but it's really rare, and we haven't seen anything this bad in a long time. I did the spreadsheet today, and as on the close today, we're basically break even for August. So we haven't quite gotten into the red for August, but we don't have any profits either. And we still have 2 more days to go. And God knows what. I mean, will we have another day like today on tomorrow or on Monday? It could happen. This has just been horrible. And this August, of course, follows July, and we had a losing month in July also. I probably will lose 2/3 of my customers in these 2 months alone. Most people absolutely cannot handle this, and I will tell you, just maybe you'll think this is self-serving, but after the extraordinary profits that we have had in the 8 previous months, this is really nothing. But most people can't handle it. They'll stop trading, and they can never benefit from those extraordinarily good periods that frequently follow these bad periods. So you got to stick with it. It's just part of trading. But oh, it's ugly. And I absolutely hated these markets today. I had a horrible day as a result of this too. It's not easy. You got to stick with it. I'm going to show you, I can't have nothing good to show you, so I'm going to show you 3 horrible stocks. Okay, maybe I'll make this bad luck go away. Who knows? This first one I am showing you is UBIV, which is VBI Vaccines Incorporated. Big gap up today. We buy those gaps. We got in there, had about 30 minutes of some profit there, and then the things just started sliding, sliding, sliding. We had a lot of shares, over 16,000 shares of this thing, and on the close we were down $11,000 in VBI Vaccines Incorporated, negative 11,000. It doesn't end there. This is POLA, P-O-L-A, which is Polar Power Incorporated. Yesterday, with about 2.5 hours to go, we had this enormous spike here. We had to buy in the middle of that spike. That produced a significant amount of slippage on the trade anyway. And then the high for that move took place, the same 15-minute bar that got us in. That's never good. It started to slip, closed at a small loss, not a big loss, but then we got slammed this morning on the open. We had 30,000 shares of this, so this really hurt us, and we were out $10,000 in Polar Power Incorporated. Now I'm going to show you the worst one, the one that just kind of tears my heart out. Our loss on this was $330. You might say, well, that's not nearly as bad as those $10,000, $11,000 loss. No, this was much worse than those $10,000 or $11,000 losses. This is Fluidigm Incorporation. This is a biotech company that's working on the coronavirus. Something happened. Okay, we got into this thing on Tuesday, and it closed against us, about $2,000 against us. We had 6,000 shares, quite a few shares. And then something happened after the market on Tuesday, testing or something that would indicate Fluidigm was on to something pretty big with respect to coronavirus. And you're not seeing all the action here. This action up here was yesterday, and the price range there was about $10.50 to $12.50 was about the range. We had bought this thing at about $9, okay? So the range here yesterday is $10.50 to $12.50. But what you're not seeing at about 4 a.m. in the pre-market, before the actual open on Tuesday, this thing opened up at 20. At 20. And to give you some perspective of that, our position was 6,000 shares that we bought at about 9.5. At 20 was worth $63,000. Now I know that's not our system, but if you consider that if I had been awake, if I had seen this and somehow had foreordained that that was the top of the trade and I got out of there, I would have made $63,000 in profit with Fluidigm. Of course, I wasn't awake, I don't do that, and so on and so forth. But the point of my griping about the pain of this trade is I'm looking at profits, potential profits of $63,000 going to negative $300 on the open. And that's going 63,000 to negative 300 is why I consider this the most horrible trade of all in Fluidigem Corporation. So this is the life of the trader. I don't know how else I can do it except explain that's what happens. It's ugly, it's horrible, it's painful. You just want to bury your head and cry. And that's what the life we live. This is Trader Bob signing off. I will see you tomorrow on Freaky Friday.